I would describe my childhood as lonely. I grew up way out in the country, about 15 miles away from school and equal distance from any friends. So I'd spent a lot of time alone as a kid. And where I lived in the era I lived in, there was no television, there were no movies, there were no games. And I had to figure out how to pass the time. So I quickly learned how to be creative. That was my mode of survival. And I am still surprised at the things that my parents allowed me to create on my own. There was the tree house that I built. I don't remember how old I was, but a bunch of scrap lumber and old 2x4s and a coffee can full of nails. I built a platform probably 15 feet off the ground. This rickety ladder with 2x4s pounded into the bark. And my parents never said, no, don't do that. But that was one of the ways I passed the time. And I didn't realize that that would come back to serve me in 2020 when COVID hit. The whole world shut down and everybody began to panic. What do we do? What do we do? And besides watching lots of Netflix and making sourdough bread, I'm not sure what people did, but I know what I did because I reverted back to my childhood creativity. I went to work on my house. I painted it all the way around by hand. I improved my garden. I expanded my fire pit. I did lots of creative things just as I would with when I was a kid. And I've resisted the temptation to just sit and consume and binge and complain. And what I found was that really served me well. There were many nights that I would come down here into my studio and I would open up my computer and learn GarageBand. Because in my previous life, I made a lot of music, but that was 20 plus years ago, and I still didn't know if I knew how to do it, and got into this equipment and realized, oh, it's not that hard. And so I would come down and I would just create songs, sounds, never thinking that anything would happen to it. I just was creating, doing what I would have done as a kid, just bringing something forth. And a friend of mine recently said, Chef, what are you doing with all that music? I said, nothing. And he looked at me kind of irritated. Chef, you need to finish those songs and get them out into the public. They do nobody any good on the hard drive. And I knew he was right. I knew I had to share my creation. So I did. And through this process, it has taught me a significant lesson about the importance of creating. Now, I'm not talking about being a creative type, not being an artist or a musician or poet or writer, but the act of creation is so critical to our human experience. It's important that something exists because of you that didn't exist before you. That to me is the essence of creation. So whether it's a song that didn't exist before I came down here and fashioned something out, or if it's a family, the ability to recreate something that looks like us, sounds like us, talks like us, acts like us. That's the beauty of creation. You might have the ability to create wealth. You might have the innate ability to make money. And what a great aspect of creation. But there's not enough in creating itself. Creating has to be shared. And if you create that wealth, it's not enough to consume it, because we're not taking it with us anyway. So why not bless others? Why not be generous? And when it comes to creative work like this, the importance of sharing it, getting it outside of my body into the ears of someone else. And it took me a while to realize that these songs that I'm making, are they any good or not? That's really not a good question. The better question is, do I like it? Do I find joy in it? Because who's to say whether it's good enough unless I sign off on it? And creation to me is really caught up in a song. And the way I would talk about the creative process is to have a starting point. Find something that feels good. Find something that resonates with you, that you can get into the groove with. And feel that. Sometimes you don't have to come up with anything brand new. Sometimes you just double down on what you already know. Do the same thing. Fatten it up a bit. Then come along and compliment your work. Tell it good things. Because who doesn't benefit from a compliment? And layer it on. That's your starting point. Get in the mood. Get in the groove. Feel what it is that wants to come out of your body. Don't worry about if it's good or not. Is the essence of it there? Then polish it up. Then when you get a little more courage, just polish it up. Before you know it, you got something that sounds like this.